Welcome back to another episode of Artist to Artist presented by Artist Republic. I am back again. This is Nick. I'm here with Christian. And please remember, give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. Check us out on Instagram at Artist to Artist. That's Artist to Artist. And then it's with a cast. Artist to Artist cast. Now, let's dive into this. Christian, what's in the news today?
So I found this interesting article from a local news source in Austin, Texas. Many people know that Austin is home to South by Southwest, and it's considered the home of the headquarters really for live music. A lot of people on a South by Southwest panel, have been debating on what the world is going to be like in terms of the concert industry post-COVID. A lot of people have been saying that the music industry was the first to close and it's likely going to be the first to reopen. There's been a lot of talk more recently about some major festivals giving 2021 dates, but some people are more hesitant about that. And a lot of people are thinking that may not be the case anymore. Nick, what do you think in terms of live music and when that's going to be coming back?
So I think live music is going to come back. It's going to come back pretty quickly. I was actually talking to a couple guys the other day that are already getting booking requests literally for April. But they're not big venues. They're smaller venues, smaller capacities, and it's much more intimate. I think that stuff you're going to be seeing come back really quickly. Now, from the festival side, I think you're going to see a couple festivals starting to pop up with 2021 dates. But the problem with that, I don't think you're going to see a lot of the massive ones. Because the thing is it's a huge financial risk. And a lot of these festivals just took a huge hit in 2020 and they're thinking, do I really want to dive in and be the first one back and risk losing more money? Or do I want to wait until 2021, be a little bit later to the game, but be sure that I'm going to get every single dollar back that I invested into it. So I don't know if it's going to be, first to come back. I mean, hell, restaurants are already back up at 75 to 100% capacity. So I don't think it's going to be the first one to come back, but I don't think it's going to be super dragged out. It's going to come back in phases. And I think you're going to start to see it with small concerts first. Vinny is the founder of Indie Connect, an artist management and consulting company. His company will also be managing a school tour with 16 artists speaking and performing at schools within the US, Canada, UK, and Brazil. He co-owns 3 TV channels on new major TV network launching in April and co-owns the Spark Virtual Campus and Event Center. The Spark is an avatar-based event and concerts of all size. Some of Vinny's past and current clients include Jason Black, Phoenix Red, Dylan Pineda, among many others. So let's bring him in and see what he has to say.
Vinny, how are you?
I'm awesome. How are you guys doing?
Doing
Not
good.
too bad. Can't complain.
I like to hear that.
Loving the background.
Thank you.
So I think that's a perfect intro to kind of steal your thunder over here, Christian. Vinny, give us a little bit of an introduction about yourself, everything you're doing with Indie Connect and also with the Spark and all this stuff that you got going on. Give us the lowdown.
I'll try to do it quickly. There's a lot going on. Indie Connect, I started about 11 years ago as a networking group, basically, and here in Nashville. Got together once a week to talk music business. Started with 5 people. 2 weeks later, I had 30 people coming to each meeting. And it just grew and grew into a huge networking organization locally here. I did get out of that for a while, and I got into artist consulting and management, which I had done back in the 80s as well. And so I manage 2 artists and I consult with about 10 right now. And there'll be more as COVID breaks open. We lost clients obviously because people weren't making money. And so I've got that. I have a tour of 16 artists that are going out to speak on at schools, speak on social acceptance and perform. And so we're doing all the tour management for that. And that's going to be fun. So we'll have a media tour starting in a couple of weeks here, and then the actual tour will start in September. And what else? I own 3 TV channels on a new TV network that's launching, and those are tied into the school tour. It's the same company. And so we'll be doing a lot of music related things on there. One channel is general entertainment, one's all business, one's all health and wellness. So I'm bringing a lot of concerts to that. I'm bringing, obviously I'm creating TV shows around artists and doing a lot of music video shows and stuff like that. So trying to really use all the things that we've got going to help the artists. And then the last thing is the Spark, which is behind me there. And that is, we have a whole virtual campus it's an event center, basically. It's got about 80 different venues in it, for everything from outdoor stages to conference center, auditoriums. And it's a pretty amazing place. It's built so incredibly practical, where everybody gets an avatar, and every avatar has a microphone. You walk around, you can talk to other people, you can make decisions like, do I want to go to that workshop, or do I want to go to the beach and go for a boat ride? It's just like you would do in a regular event. So the goal with that is to actually turn it into a 24-hour day, 7-day-a-week community for creatives. So for musicians, everybody in the music industry, film and TV industry, we'll bring in sports, and then of course businesses will come there because they want to be around the musicians. So again, everything is working together to help the independent artists, because that's my passion.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm definitely going to be getting on Spark soon. And also, Christian, I think we need an Artist Republic TV show.
Yeah, we do.
It would be awesome. I am definitely looking. I'm definitely looking for that. So we'll talk.
The day in the life of a music startup. That's where we're going.
An interesting journey.
Hell yeah. So tell me a little bit, obviously, because you're doing a bunch of stuff with, kind of, between the Spark, kind of being new technology, and, then also TV, traditional technology placement. How do you see kind of the future of music technology? Where do you think it's going to go? What do you think it's going to be? And how do you see, kind of changing, whether, traditional forms changing to updated versions, and then also new technology like the Spark?
I think that you're going to see a lot of hybrid type of events where people are, all the things that have been developed during COVID are going to be integrated into what people are doing, post-COVID. We have concert venues on here. I actually have a large Motown group. I can't say who it is yet, but performing on there. We're talking to a major 90s, probably the biggest 90s group to do a concert on there. And so I think what we're going to see is, like, if let's say you're a major artist and you're going, well, major or not, independent, you're going to 30 cities for your tour. Well, there's a lot of cities that you never reach. There's no reason why you can't broadcast those at the same time. Give other people a really good experience, not just a Zoom type of experience. But what's really interesting with the Spark is, if you've got your avatar on the stage while you are doing your live, we can do a lot YouTube live right on the stage, but the people in the audience can actually be applauding, they can be dancing, and your avatar sees that. So you see people actually, reacting to your music.
That's cool.
Which is amazing. There's nothing else out there that does that. And so there's no reason why that can't be an extension of concerts that are going on. And I think you're going to see that across the board. I don't think, all the things like with artists using Twitch and stuff, other funding sources and everything, that's all going to grow. It's just, all of those tools are going to be incredibly invaluable if an artist knows how to use them all. And they know how to marry.
Well, so I'm looking at the Spark picture behind you, and obviously, you have all these people around the table. They're sitting in that blue circle, and clearly you can go to another table and enter that, blue circle room and talk and stuff like that. So obviously Clubhouse is huge right now. Is to some extent, is Spark pretty much just a virtual avatar version of Clubhouse, where you can hop into different rooms, talk to different people, and just there's always rooms going on in different events that you can just hop in, hop out. How does that kind of collaboration work?
It's not just yet. Right now we're using it for events. But yes, that's exactly where we're going. Because awesome. The beauty of this is, like, every time you see a blue circle around a table, that's a privacy zone, and only the people that are in that privacy zone can hear each other. So two people can walk over to a table and actually start writing songs. We have some tables that actually have computers on them that both people there could actually sit there and, you know, the lyrics can be up on the computer and you're doing everything right there. So it's much more interactive than Clubhouse, you know,
Yeah.
and you can have facial expressions and everything. I mean, our avatars can wave, they can shake hands, you know, it really emulates what goes on in a regular conference.
That's awesome. Do you see
Yeah.
the Spark ever moving into like Oculus, like VR? Like, can I actually be at the table?
They have that. You can actually use a VR or an Oculus on there. It's just, you know, we're not incorporating that right now, but if somebody has the tools, they can do it. If they have the, you know, VR glasses or an Oculus, they can. It's just a setting that they just switch on their personal avatar.
Well, I'm going to go buy myself an Oculus, and Christian, I will find you somewhere in the event space later tonight. We can hang out. This is pretty awesome. I'm moving Artist Republic to a completely virtual office.
We have virtual offices on there. I definitely need to get your emails, and I'll send you an invitation, and I'll give you a personal tour.
That's so awesome. I am so pumped for that. All right, Christian, passing the speaking ball off to you, man.
Yeah, this is all really, really cool stuff, like really cool technology that can be applied in a lot of different ways, you know, like you mentioned, the concerts and live events in general. And then, you know, towards the tail end there, we kind of mentioned songwriting, right? So, you know, I feel like this could be applied for artist collaborations in the future, where we find multiple artists working together in this virtual space, you know, and all of this also just kind of applies in general to what's been going on in our world lately, where, you know, some people might be, I guess, a little worried to meet with somebody in person and collaborate on a song, and this would be the perfect way to kind of get around that issue. I'd love to talk to you a little bit more about how this could be applied for collaborations for artists.
That's exactly what we're talking about doing, where I think of it as LinkedIn Live. So people can go on there. Everybody who's there is expecting to meet other people for business.
Mm-hmm.
And that business could be, let's go and songwrite, or it could be, you know, it could be you, an artist going on there and finding booking agents and managers and everybody else. I mean, it's a collaborative tool, it's a business tool, and it's a social tool at the same time. So there won't be any really limits to it when it comes to all of that. Anything that you can do in real life, pretty much you'd be able to do there as far as business and communicating with people.
And so can you see this being sort of an add-on to maybe a live experience? So say South by Southwest, for example, they come back next year and they decide, hey, we want to kind of use the Spark as a way to bring in more money for people that can't make it physically to the location.
Yeah, definitely for hybrid events, it's going to be huge. You know, think about it this way. There's two things that are really important. If an artist wants to come on here and just do a concert, okay, they actually get to build a relationship with their fans. It's not just like a Zoom concert or a Facebook Live or something, because they can, after the meeting, they can go and do a meet and greet. They can go boating with them. They can go play soccer if they want to. They can just go into a room and sell their merch and answer questions. I mean, it's that interactive. So that's a huge part of it. I actually have a video on just how to use it to build your fan relationships, how to enhance your fan relationships. From the virtual venue or virtual conference type of event, think about it this way. You've got all the people who do make it to South by Southwest, for example, or Music Biz or the CD Baby Conference, whatever. And then there's a whole lot of people that didn't make it, but if they could participate virtually, all the people who are at the physical event can also have an avatar, and everybody would still be able to collaborate. You all get to see the same things together, but then you would be able to collaborate with people who aren't there in the physical. And we would be able to set it up where you have it for a month. So you can be there for, 2 weeks after the conference, just mingling with people. So there's a lot of ways that I think it's going to work for hybrid events like that. I don't think it's going away. I don't think after COVID that something like this that's as intuitive and as realistic is going to be, just discarded, because you can do so much more. You can connect with people all over the world, and literally just walk up to them, and you can actually see their profile before you talk to them, so you know who it is, and you can connect with people all over the world. And that's like having a music biz conference or something 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all year long.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that was a big problem with live streaming is a lot of people were like, well, after COVID, this is going to go away. Where a lot of this interactive stuff, like literally virtual events and virtual conferences where you can literally only attend in a virtual world, that's not going away because that's new technology. That stuff was there before COVID. And that stuff has always been pushing the boundaries of so many things. So yeah, that's definitely awesome. I'm on board with that. So diving into, Indie Connect and also the school tour, I like that a lot. I want to talk a little bit more about that because, obviously being someone who went through school, they would bring music here and there, but, I think there's a big piece of that is actually for students to see people that are making a living in music and realize, hey, you can actually make a living in music. Because a lot of people that go into music are told from day one, you'll never make a living. You're going to live in a shoebox for the rest of your life and you shouldn't do it. And you should get a real job. But now it's like music is a real job. And so, yeah, so like, how do you see that going? What's like the big thing you want to get out of it?
So the big thing with that is we want to influence the students. We want to introduce them to new influencers, people who are doing things for a positive impact on them. Mm-hmm. We're trying to erase a lot of stigmas, and definitely like all the artists that are going on the tour have gone through some kind of a major challenge in their life. We've got one, Kaylin Roberson, who when she was 9 years old, her family dog mauled her face and she had to go through reconstructive surgery, and the bullying that she went through and everything for that is just off the charts, to the point where she actually paid to be on 2 tours to go around to schools and talk about bullying. And she's an amazing country artist. And so, the story of being able to face that, overcome that, and then go on to be something that you've always wanted to do, whether it's music or anything else, that it's a temporary challenge that you're going through, and that there are ways to get out of it and get around it. And basically everybody that's on the tour has some kind of story like that. We have one gal who was abused mentally and physically by her grandparents who raised her. We've got another who's, just parents divorced when she was 9 and went through all kinds of depression and everything. Moved to Nashville completely on her own, didn't know anybody and everything, just to get away, and built a strong career. So it's about social acceptance. It's about changing the way people look at, here's a good example. I've got one gentleman who is part Black, part white, part Indian. And so didn't feel accepted anywhere. Ended up getting into a motorcycle gang where he finally felt accepted, which they got into some trouble. He ended up with 6.5 years in prison. And so his story is, just amazing when you think about the impact that he can have on everybody who's feeling isolated, feeling like they don't belong, and warning about gangs and stuff like that. I mean, the messages, while they're all different because they're all different artists, they're all the same. It's, you can overcome this. You need to talk to somebody. You need to, figure out who to talk to, and we will help with those kind of things. But the idea, the long term from it, is that, especially for a lot of these kids, this is going to be the first concert they've ever seen. And I'm sure you remember the first concert that you ever went to. I remember the first one I ever went to. There's a big impact there. And so if we can turn these artists into influencers for those students and they start following them, and then we follow up with, really encouraging TV shows and, just tie them into everything else and have them come on the Spark and have the students all come on there and mingle with them, then we can create a whole new era of influencers and change basically what the students are watching on TV, the kind of music that they're listening to. Not everybody's listening to negative music or anything, but there is a lot out there. There's a lot of stuff that, I was somebody just pitched me a video, and it was hip hop, and it was like, I would never show that video to anybody. They're encouraging drinking. It was bad. not something that would be a good influence. And
And a lot
so,
of people do say that as artists too. So like you get in, you're like, you think you need to, sex, drugs, and money sells. And then you realize, well, actually it took me down a different path. And then you're like, okay. And then once they get past that phase, they look back and they're like, don't stop. No. And it's interesting to see that because it's like people start that at the beginning of their career, think that's what they have to do. And then they go through that transition phase of like, no, this isn't what it's about. And then, yeah, it starts coming back to, okay, this is a business. Let's treat it like a business.
I always tell artists, I mean, you've got to think about the fact that I don't care if you have 10 fans or you have a million fans, you are an influencer.
Mm.
There are people who are following you, who are watching you. Younger people are going to want to be like you. And that's an awesome responsibility. No matter how many fans you have or don't have, that's an awesome responsibility. And you have to treat that seriously. And so it's not, you can't make it all about you. It's got to be about the people who are your fans or who you're trying to attract as fans, the people that you want to be in your tribe, your true fans, however you want to describe them. But they're going to be there whether you like it or not. And you have influence over them. So what are you going to do with that influence?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and there's a lot that can be said about the impact that music artists have on their communities. And from your perspective, Vinny, what kind of impact are you trying to get primarily through Indie Connect, I guess, in particular? You consult with a lot of artists, so your mantra, like what drives you to be that push for good change in the music industry?
I think a lot of it had to do with the influences that I grew up with and seeing the difference between what, the people that I followed and was influenced by back then and the people that people are following now. That, to me, I'm not trying to be a prude or anything, because I mean, we were not innocent back then. There's no way. But at the same time, if there weren't certain people that were really, strong positive influences that came out and said you don't have to be like this, then I might have gone down a totally different path. And I see people following artists that are they're crude, they're really pushing drinking and just negative behaviors. And it's no different with between music or TV shows. You have a young kid who's watching Criminal Minds on TV, and that's got to mess with your mind. It's got to plant some seeds in your mind that, when you see all these people that are depraved and everything. So I'm not saying we have to be sugary sweet. I'm just saying that there's a responsibility there. And if we can change just, what it is that we feed our brains on a daily basis, then I think we can influence people to change a lot of things that are wrong with the society right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Nick, do you want to round us out with our final question? We're getting to that 30-minute mark. You're muted.
I am on mute. That last part really hit me. I like that. So my final question to kind of round this out over here, this has been awesome learning about the Spark. I definitely want to take a virtual tour. Don't know if I've ever said that in my life. But I definitely want to take a virtual tour. I will will be ordering Oculus later today. And I will be living in virtual world for the rest of my life. So if anyone wants to follow me or talk to me, you can find me living in my virtual world. We can go on a boat ride. We can go play golf. This is going to be lit. But with that as the final question, what is one piece of advice that you would give to any up and coming artist that is getting into the music industry right now?
Okay. The thing that I find most of the time is that artists don't understand exactly what's available to them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And what I see is a lot of artists that are going after, I got to build a huge following on social media, and that will be my draw so I can go out and perform. And artists have to realize that there are a lot of soft ticket gigs out there. Hard ticket gigs are where you have to be the draw. Soft ticket gigs are where they already have the people there and you just need to be a great entertainer. And that could be, if you're a rock musician or a singer-songwriter, it could be the college circuit. It could be, there's theater circuits that are 40 miles outside of town and they have seasoned subscribers. They can't afford major artists, but you can go and make $3,000 or $4,000 a night playing these theaters as long as you're a great entertainer. You can do a military tour. I mean, there's so many different things like that that you can do where you build your fan base there and you don't have to have the following. So I see a lot of artists that are delaying their careers until they have enough followers. And you build it, you really build the relationship with fans when you're out there performing live. And so get out there and perform live and go where the people already are. Hotels, tourist areas, those are all areas where they already have the people. And I think most artists, what I find is most artists don't realize that those are available to them. Yes, you have to do some homework and package yourself for a booking agent or something to get into them. But you know, if you get on the fair circuit, you can build a huge following of people of all ages. It doesn't matter what kind of music you're doing, and make a really good living at the same time while you're building that fan base. And so there's just a lot of opportunities out there that artists don't realize. They need to do their homework. They need to talk to somebody who knows, you know, look up artists and see where they're performing, and it'll give you ideas. Wow, I never thought about that. I never thought about there's all these colleges out there. How about the school tour that I'm dealing with where we're paying the artist over 6 figures to go out for the school year? Yeah. There's a lot of opportunities out there. Look for those first. Don't try to build it all on social media.
I like that. Well, with that, thank you so much for hopping on today. This has been awesome. I hope people listening got a lot out of it. I know I did. And anyone listening, don't forget, make sure to give a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts so we continue doing this, bring on more people, and share with a friend, share with someone that you think would like this. Check out The Spark, check out Indie Connection, and really, this was awesome. And I hope everyone has an awesome day, and we'll see you next week.